Most people think Claude Code, as the name implies, is just a coding tool. But in the following video, I will show you it's way much more than that. I will show you how to use Claude Code for your personal assistant task, your content creation, your automation, and basically how to transform Claude Code in an actual business operating system for you. So with that said, let's get started and let's get into the video. The first thing that we're gonna focus on will be installing Claude Code. So just search Claude Code on Google and you will find the following website from the creators of Claude over here. What you will have to do over here will be to just copy paste this simple command in the terminal. Don't worry, it's not gonna be super complicated. You just need to press Ctrl C, Ctrl V on this command over here. So just copy this command, go to the terminal, and then in the terminal just Ctrl V this command, and this will install Claude Code. Also make sure that you have this node.js installed in order to run everything, and you will have everything working. If you run everything correctly, you can go directly within the terminal, type Claude, and this will open Claude Code. Over here, what I will do is I will just click proceed, and it will ask me to access some of my documents. And over here, we have the actual interface of Claude Code. By the way, we will not use the terminal for this because it doesn't make sense for our specific use case. So let me walk you through the actual setup that we're gonna use. For the actual setup, we will use Visual Studio Code, which is an actual code editor, but I will explain you in a second how we're gonna use that. And we will also need a couple of extensions directly within VS Code. So first off, install VS Code. And then the second thing is after you have that installed, you can go directly over here and there's a section called extensions, and you will need a couple of extensions. Mainly the two ones that you're gonna need in this case would be the official Claude Code extension, which is this extension over here, which will allow you to start Claude Code directly from here from the VS Code. And then the second one that I would suggest you would be the Markdown Preview Enhanced extension. This will enable to view the actual files that are generated by Claude Code in a more readable form. So once you have those two extensions, now you're ready to. After extensions, the third component that you will need are MCPs. I made a whole video about what are MCPs and how they can be used, but for the sake of this video, think of MCPs as tools that you give to your AI assistant in order to perform specific actions. So in this case, the ability to read the emails, the ability to create calendar events, the ability to do any kind of activity with the Google Suite, with ClickUp, or with whatever tools you wanted to. So in this file over here, I had an examples of MCP that I will give in the description. And within here, you can find a couple of different MCPs such as Fireflies, Slack, Google Workspace, and ClickUp. Those are the ones that I use. The one that I suggest you the most probably will be the Google Workspace, since almost everyone is using Google. And within there, I will also send you the link to this one and how to install this one, so you can have a reference on that and you can follow that. Now that the setup is out of the way, I can clearly explain you why this is really revolutionary. So the beauty about using this kind of system, the beauty about using Claude Code is that you have access to full context that you can create within a specific folder within your computer. So in this case, for example, we have different folders and different config about a personal assistant. So the personal assistant knows what are the specific email rules that we have, what are specific ways of tracking our time, what are specific task patterns and things like that. So he has this old knowledge around the specific actions that we do within our business. This, together with the ability to call different tools, so create calendar events, send emails, read emails, whatever the things are. And on top of that, the ability to write code and execute code, transform this Claude Code into a real AI employee. So your whole job will be to define the specific tasks that the AI employee needs to do, create the context for that. So that means creating specific email patterns in this case for a personal assistant, but we will see also other use cases with content agents or automation builder agents. And once you have those, you can iterate and you can actually create the assistant, the employee based on your own specific needs. So now that we have that clear, let's see a couple of use cases so that you can see clearly how this works in a real business sense and in a real life scenario. The first example that we're gonna see is a personal assistant. So prior to showing you this, I would like to explain you one simple thing over here. So if you think about that, if you think about any sort of job role, every job role has a specific set of tasks and a specific context that is related to those tasks. So in this case, for example, the personal assistant is tasked with checking the emails and categorize the emails in specific folders, right? In order to do that, it needs to have some context, which is, for example, in this case, the categorization rules. So this is the beauty of working within Claude Code because you can use the MCP, which is the part that allows you to check the emails, for example. And then for the categorization, you can create a file that is a categorization rule, reference that file, and that file could be used to create the actual categorization. So let me show you what I mean with an example. Over here, we will type something such as, hey, please check my email using the Gmail tool, and please categorize my emails. Now, this is just an example. On top of that, what we can do is we can reference a specific file. So I would like to reference a file that is present over here into data decision email categorization. So over here, I can type the hat and mention that file. So for the categorization, please refer back to, and then email categorization.md. So in this way, I can type this out, and the Claude Code will use the Gmail tool. We categorize the email using the context that is present over here, and then provide the final summary at the end of the day. So the categorization finished over here. As you can see, there are different categorization, and the categorization actually are defined over here in this document. So as you can see over here, we have action required, follow up, reference, and all of that was used directly over here. One important thing is that it also gives the action needed. So potentially you can also perform the actions directly from the interface over here. So you can say, okay, send a calendar invite to that specific person, or do some other kind of action over here. The second example that I want to show you is a research example. In this example, we will use a content research, which is a process that I need to do a lot of the time when creating new YouTube videos. And so when we need to do a process like that, we generally need this information that we have over here. First off, how the research should be done. So if we have a specific framework about how we decide to perform the research, if we need to search YouTube, if we need to search the web, or whatever things we need to do, how it should be relevant to my own channel. So if we perform a research and come up with some ideas for a video, we want to make sure that those ideas are relevant to our own channel. So this is, again, other additional context that might be needed. And then over here, another thing that I mentioned over here is tool required. So an example could be the ability to create transcripts from YouTube videos, the ability to search YouTube videos, and things like that, which are not things that are available by default, or are not things that I don't have as MCPs. So in this specific instance, I let it run, I let the agent run right now. I asked the following prompt. I'd like to perform a content research for my next YouTube video. The topic is how to use Claude Code. Refer back to the content research process guide and the audience profile to make the research relevant to my own needs. save everything in the ideas folder. So again, context. So as you can see here, I have two pieces of content that I provided. This is an example of the content research guide. Keep in mind that this is created by the AI. So like I haven't actually double check on this research, but ideally what you need to do over here is if you need to have this process done within your business in a professional way, you have a look at all the things that are mentioned over here and make sure that everything is relevant. But as you can see over here, we have an initial topic assessment. We have a part related to web research. We have a part related to how do you evaluate the research. We have a part related to YouTube research. So everything we might need to perform the research. Over here, you went on and tried to find and analyze relevant YouTube videos. So it was trying to use some tools that were present within the tool set over here that he has, but the tools were not working. So we iterated upon that and say, hey, I want to do real YouTube research. Please create some tools related to that. So as you can see over here, we are not only able to add MCPs, but we are able to create any kind of tools that we really want to, because if we are running code, we can do that. And so over here, he went on and created the actual tools. He uses a specific transcript tool that was already present, so it was using that. And finally, over here is he created the video and he created the content brief. So if we go over here, we can check the brief and we can check what is mentioned over here. So Claude Code represents a paradigm shift in AI system development. Okay. And over here, it gives some specific ideas, some findings. It gives back content analysis related to specific videos and specific success of specific videos. What we can do over here is we can also check what were the sources that were used. So as you can see over here, it mentioned Claude Code, it mentioned other websites over here. And over here for the YouTube research, I think in this case you went on and created example videos, but like this could be further iterated and further improved to make sure that it uses real video. So this was just an example. Keep in mind the iteration here is fundamental in order to make something that works for your own business and for your own needs. The last idea that I would like to show you here is an automation builder agent. So in my work, I build a lot of automation and my team builds a lot of automation. So we need to create a way where we are able to create those fast and we are able to be very aligned on what each client wants. So an example over here that I built is a automation builder that is both responsible of creating the documentation of the different automation, and then in the future it can also build complete automations, anytime automations from scratch. So let me show you the first step first, so you can have an idea of that. For this part, what we are doing is we are using commands, which is a specific feature that could be used from Claude. So commands is basically a custom prompt that you already created. And so in this case, what we have is anytime planning assistant, analyze client request and create a comprehensive planning document for an anytime automation project. Over here, again, this is AI generated, so like this is not refined right now, but it's a good starting point. So what we can do over here is we can start the Claude Code, and then within Claude Code we can say N8N planning, okay, and then over here we can mention, hey, I like to build a workflow that starts with a webhook. So the webhook will be when an email is received, and then when that email is received, perform an AI analysis on that email, and then based on if the email is positive or not, mark the email as positive or not positive using Smart Lead and using the Smart Lead API. So what I can do over here is just send this one over here, and this will get started and use that. Keep in mind this is a custom prompt, so it will use this prompt over here to build the actual request and to build the actual structure over here. So here you could already have some ideas of how this could work. And again, over here, it's also creating a visual workflow so you can potentially view the workflow itself. It reads the templates, it reads how everything is built, it reads different patterns that are present within this the system. So again, you can add additional elements to the context if you want to improve the results. And let me show you the end results so that you can have a sense of that. Okay, here's the actual request. So the document is an MD document, so a markdown document like so. What I did over here is I used the markdown previewer to have a better format of this document. So as you can see over here, we have the original request, so the raw request, what are the key requirements extracted, what is the visual workflow explained. So like this was auto-generated, the workflow steps, the required tools, the external APIs that might be needed over here, custom development requirements, technical requirements, and a lot of other stuff like that. So as you can see, this is only the first step. The second step is I could take this document and say, please create an N8N workflow out of that. And maybe I will show a couple future videos on how to do that because I'm still refining this process and I want to make sure that this is this is 80% of the work is done with that. So yeah, with that said, those were just 3 examples of Claude Code. Keep in mind that the focus over here is always on the following. So first off, in order to build your AI employee, you need to first off define the role and define the responsibilities. The second thing is give the context, the right context. And the third thing would be to give the right set of actions or set of prompts. So prompts as well as like specific tools. So in this case, tools could either be MCPs or it could be, for example, code tools that are created directly for you. So yeah, that's just that. A couple of ideas on how to use Claude Code. Hope this was useful. Let me know in the comments. Subscribe if you want more videos like this. Talk to you soon.